Welcome back to the Simple Cyber Defense. I'm Carl Wade, and I'm being joined with a new person. Do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Hey, my name is Brian Teller. I'm a staff DevOps engineer. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Today, we're going to be having an interesting topic on AI chatbots. And the question arises of, are they really as secure as we think they are? It came to a discovery recently that I think Microsoft made a white paper and discovered that chatbots can be used as a spying device, kind of, where the
Mhm.
attackers could use just very simple attacks to kind of either steal data from the chatbots to know what you're talking about, or even just kind of inferring it based upon different tokens and the way it processes information, where they can just guess with, I think, 98% certainty of what you're talking about. And that can be very scary, especially if you're talking about personal, private information.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people too also just put anything they can think of in a chatbot like they would maybe in a Google search,
Yeah.
which maybe isn't the smartest thing to do.
Well, researching for this, I've actually discovered that some people are actually using this as like a online therapist or like even a career coacher. Like, what should I do in my job based upon these parameters? And that can be very frightening if, say, private information gets leaked out to the wrong people.
Yeah, absolutely. So at my job, we actually have we have policies around
Mhm.
using AI and what you're allowed to paste, what you're not allowed to paste. And,
Yeah.
and there are like I guess ChatGPT has an enterprise program, so it will kind of silo the organization's chatting for all of its users into like its own shared model. But
Mm.
there still could be leaking there. Like it's not necessarily a foolproof thing. So you do need to be very
Yeah.
careful about like adding any PII or information into the
Yeah.
model for sure.
Especially with like the consumer level ones that don't have those same safeguards. It could be even more frightening. Like, say, you have a diagnosis that you're looking up and you don't want anyone else to know, especially like health providers or even your job, to know that you're worried about this particular health problem. And what the attackers will do is search into this white paper, saying that they will do sideloading attacks on
Mhm.
on the chat bot that you're using, and then steal a lot of metadata in these chatbots, which has a lot of personal information in them themselves, and also could then be used to know what you're talking about, and it's tagged directly to you.
That is definitely scary. I would say personally, I've definitely I've met friends that use it for researching diagnoses, talking about
Mhm.
medical problems. It's very scary because originally these LLMs, right? They were built based off of all of the data on the internet, right? Reddit,
Yeah,
Facebook, whatever they could scrape. That's pretty much exhausted now, though. That data set's exhausted, but we still need more data. So where do they find that data? Users inputting
humans.
it into ChatGPT. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So everything you input is at risk.
So why would you think the average person should be worried about this? Because I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, I have nothing to hide, so who cares if someone knows what I'm talking about in ChatGPT?"
There's unintended consequences to everything in life, I feel like.
Mhm.
I think it's easy to say, "Hey, I don't have anything to hide, so I'm not worried about it. It doesn't affect me. It only affects someone else." But in the grand scheme of things, like you don't know how that data is going to be used. You don't know how it's going to be correlated. Um, like so, the first thing that comes back to mind for me is there was a story. Oh gosh, it was probably like 20 years ago now, 15, 20 years ago, about Target sending a teenage daughter flyers for
Mhm.
baby and for like baby coupons, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, you get diaper coupons. And the dad was pissed off, like, well, why is my daughter getting all these coupons? Well, they had basically, this is like early machine learning, right?
Yeah.
They were just correlating data of what she was buying at the store, maybe vitamins or other things that like someone that would be expecting would be buying, and they inferred that she would likely be pregnant, so they started sending her this information. Turns out she was, she just didn't relay
Tell
that
the
to
dad.
her dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that think of that, but on even on a grander scale. And so it's not necessarily the companies. It's not even OpenAI or Microsoft or Google that I'd worry about. I mean, I'd worry about them too, but
Yeah.
I'd also worry about any company that would potentially either buy this data or maliciously get this data and then act on it.
I would even go a step further. Like, you may not necessarily be the end goal target, but you may be the stepping stone for them. Like, for example, if you're chatting with this chatbot about work related things and these malicious actors then get that information, then they can easily craft like a email that looks very legitimate, targeted directly to you to click down a download because maybe you were worried about your work performance and you chatted with the chatbot about how can I increase my my value to the company so that I can get a promotion. And then all of a sudden you get an email from HR saying, hey, we want to talk to you about this issue. And then just click here to see the report and make sure there are no errors in it. Well, you click on the report and then you download a virus, and then they get your work passwords and they use that to leverage their way into the company's network and then attack from there.
Yeah, there's a lot of attack vectors making those phishing attacks even easier or harder for someone to discern if it's real or not.
Yep.
It makes social engineering easier. They could call up your phone provider because they now have more information about you. If you're in ChatGPT and you're researching a vacation, there could be a bad actor that could get that information and say, "Oh, I know you're out of the country on these dates because you're going on vacation, so now I can rob your house or do whatever I want to do with your personal information."
Or even worse, give you a link to a coupon voucher for travel or hotel, and then you click on it, and then you get your banking information, and then drains your banking account.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's probably the thing that scares me the most is taking advantage of the elderly or people that maybe don't think about technology as much, and maybe not even be using ChatGPT, but they are an unintended victim because of either a family member or just other data that's correlated to them that they weren't even aware of. You know, they don't even know what AI is, but they're being affected by it as well.
Well, with the AI becoming more and more prevalent, it could be even you go to a website and then a little chatbot pops up like, hey, how
Mhm.
can I help you? You think you're typing to a human, but you're actually talking to an AI bot.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, well, even phone calls now, right? I mean, there's 11
Yeah.
Labs with their voice model now. It's pretty damn good to the point where I work in tech every day. I can't tell that
So,
it's an AI created voice. You know, it's yeah.
or even because on that note, I was going through some security training and they were talking about how it only takes about a clip of like 10 seconds to be able to clone someone's voice. And what some bad actors are actually doing is calling people. And then once they answer, it's like, hello, how are you? Like, they just pretend that it's a wrong number dial. But what they're doing is they're
Mhm.
recording your voice. And then they can use that to then clone your voice and then either call your parents or your siblings saying, hey, I'm in jail. I need $10,000 to get out, or whatever the case may be. Or my car's broke down. I need some money quickly. It's just how easy it can be just to clone yourself like that.
Very, very dangerous, man. I will admit, I played around with Sora too because I was interested, right?
Mhm.
So I created a profile. It had me say three numbers. That was it.
Yep.
And it was able to again, it wasn't a complete like clone of my voice. It wasn't like super great, but it was certainly good enough to like call up my mom and bake her with, you know what I mean?
Or even just
Three
distort it
numbers.
enough to make it
Yeah.
look like or sound like, hey, I have bad
Yep.
reception or something.
Oh yeah, I'm breaking up. Sorry, or I have a cold right now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sound a little different. Yeah. No, absolutely.
So then the next question is, how could we protect ourselves because of all this AI stuff that's everywhere? Because we're not going to be able to avoid it because it's becoming
Yeah.
our lives whether we like it or not.
Yeah, it's never gonna go away. It's only gonna increase. And we're at the worst that it will ever be too, which is also scary to think about.
Yeah.
Um, if you think about like where the Will Smith spaghetti video was like years
Yeah.
ago, and
It's like
now it's
total slop, and now it's
yeah.
actually
Now you
believable.
can't even tell. Everybody
Yeah.
I mean, you bring up Instagram, you bring up Facebook, it's all AI. It's all AI. And to the point where people aren't even sure what's AI and what's not anymore. I think the way to protect yourself is just being diligent, um, just being very mindful about anything that you put online, because even if you put it in a Google search now, that is going through a language model that's going through Gemini, because their search is integrated now with AI. So you just anywhere you are online, anytime you're communicating with someone online, or even I guess on the phone, because you have to worry about that as well. Just being careful and slowing down. You know what I mean? It's okay to slow down. We're in such a fast paced world nowadays with 10-second videos and attention spans being so short. Just
Mm.
slowing down and taking a second, saying, "Hey, does this feel off? Or am I expecting this? Did I expect this phone call from my boss or email from my boss? Did I expect this phone call from my son?" And just slowing down and asking that question. Call someone back, email someone back, verify before you just assume that it's real.
Mm. I'll also go into a step further, like be careful which AI bots you actually interact with, because there are a ton of different AI bots out there, from ranging from like ChatGPT to like create your online girlfriend and she'll
Mhm.
interact with you. But then what are they doing with that data? So it's be very careful not to get caught into like some random person create an AI bot and you interact with it versus like a more trustworthy one like Gemini or ChatGPT, because it is just how scary, how easy it is for many of these AI bots just to scrape information from you. Like you said, we scour the entire internet. Now, the next thing to do is have us input our data into it willingly and use that
Yeah.
data to create more information for the bots to learn from.
Yeah. So the one thing that like concerned me is I've seen, I don't know if it's character AI, but or tools like that where it's basically, hey, talk to your favorite video game character or your
Yeah.
favorite TV show character or a president or whatever, and you could be having a very intimate conversation with a bot that you
Mhm.
don't know where that data is going or how it's being used. If you're not paying for it, you're probably the product,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Like I've even seen some for like being used to do D&D creations of different campaigns.
Mhm.
And so instead of having like a real person be the dungeon master, this AI bot's the dungeon master. So then you tell it, okay, based upon what you told me as a dungeon master, I do this, what happens, and then goes on and on. And again, who knows how trustworthy this AI bot is? Is it just there just to steal information from you, or is it there to actually try to give you a ability to play Dungeons and Dragons without having a ton of people around?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So there are a couple more things that the white paper from Microsoft does recommend on top of what we've all said. And one of the interesting things that they suggested is using an AI bot that uses batch tokening. So basically, what that means is instead of using the AI bot to process each individual chat one by one, which can be easily tracked to each person, they get a bunch of different chats together and process them
Okay.
together to like kind of mix the information. So you can't know, okay, Bob searched this or Jill searched that or someone
Security through
over here.
obscurity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone over
No,
here did like a chat about cars. It's all mixed together so that all you'll know is, okay, we got chats about health, cars, pets, and whatnot, but not individual who does what. And another thing that kind of really was weird, they actually say use VPNs on when you're using the chatbots. But
Interesting.
I think that could only be more effective if the attacker is close by and is on your very own network. Because if
Mhm.
they're scraping it from the chatbot, the VPN is really not going to protect you there because all the processing is done on the chatbot side.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, when you said that, I was thinking, well, are they expecting like a man in the middle attack at like if you're
Yeah,
at a Starbucks or something, I could see.
see that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure could see that. Yeah.
And the last one that they suggest, which I kind of agree with, was try to use offline chatbots so that everything is processed on your own computer, kind of like what Apple Intelligence kind of
Mhm.
claim is that everything's processed on your own device and not through the cloud. I think that could be more beneficial because then the tech will have to physically attack your computer, and that's a little harder to do if you are diligent in your cyber hygiene and things like that. So I know for my work, we do 100% AI through offline on prem, so nothing gets sent out to the network at all.
That's definitely so I've played around with Hugging Face, which is like lets you do like
Mm-hmm.
local models. I don't have quite the hardware to run anything like that would be
But
useful like on DeepSeek scale, but yeah, certainly you
yeah.
could do small scale, yeah,
Mhm. And I think
lower
give us a
language stuff.
couple of years from now, it'll be so much lighter and
Yeah.
more efficient. I mean, especially if you have an Apple product, you have basically Apple Intelligence on your probably
Mhm.
higher end, but still, even your iPhone has Apple Intelligence on there if you have that.
Yeah, and like we said, it's only the beginning, like, so it's only gonna get better.
Yeah.
So yeah, anytime you can run anything locally, always safer because then you control that data. You know that data's not going anywhere, and you don't have to worry about that data set being reused.
So, is there anything else that you think that we should add before we close it out? Or
Not sure. Just be safe, man. Just be
yeah.
safe out there. Don't think what you're putting out onto the internet, or through the phone. Because so one of the things, like I've even noticed, I get these phone calls. I get hundreds of them a day now about loan offers, and
Mhm.
uh, it's clearly to me AI because I use AI every day, but like they will even and awe and pause. So like just again, slow down, be careful because even it may sound like a real human, but it may not be. It may just be someone saying, let me think about that." Even ChatGPT, if you talk to it audibly, it will do that as well to kind of mimic human speech.
Yeah.
So just be careful and be diligent. Try to be careful about where you put your information and who you talk to, and slow down. If you're not sure, it's okay to call someone back or to double check.
Yeah. Especially with emails, because recently I got an email claiming from the US government about student loans and how
Oh,
I need to click here to make a payment quickly, otherwise, I'll be in trouble. But it turned out to be totally fake because I looked at the email address of that they sent it to. It had nothing to do with the government at all. And then
oh man, yeah,
but that's just
that's
a,
tough.
I guess that's a
Yeah.
different story for another time.
Absolutely. All right.
And I
Appreciate it.
think one last thing, I think
Yep.
having the mindset of I have nothing to hide is actually very dangerous to people to have
Absolutely.
because yes, you do have stuff to hide, whether it's big things or small things, it doesn't matter. You should have the attitude like I want my personal data to be my personal data and not everyone's personal data.
Yeah. Privacy matters, and it's not something that you can get back once you give it. So it's not something you can scale back. So yeah, you need to be very intentional about what's out there. Even if you think, well, I'm a boring person, I don't have anything to hide. That's not necessarily true. Your personal information about your kids, information about your family is not necessarily all information that you just want anywhere. You should be intentional about where that information is and what's said out there. So
Yeah, especially in America where we have a healthcare system that isn't the best, especially if they can get
yeah,
data on you to say, okay, I'm going to deny your claim because you did
yeah,
X, Y, and Z. And how would they get that information? Chatbots.
absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely.
So I guess that will wrap up this episode. Thank you again, Brian, for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to the Simple Cyber Defense Security Updates. Join us next time when we dive into more security issues, and make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Plus, if you have a topic suggestion or want to support the podcast, stop by our website at simplecyberdefense.com.